Welcome to another exciting episode on QO Talk. My name is Marvelous Achafu. And today on QO Talk, we'll be discussing Black History Month. How has the Black race fared? How is it important? What is the significance of Black History Month in our community? And with me, I have two amazing guests. First off, I have Chimereze Henry, a documentary filmmaker, a minister, and an activist. Welcome, Chimereze.
Thank you, Marvelous.
And I also have Michael Sebastian, a Chinese to English translator and a social worker. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Marvelous.
So I'd like to start off with you, Chimizere. What is the significance, or break it down to the layman now? So people might be watching us and they will say, what is the meaning of this Black History Month? Why is it important? So what is the importance of Black History Month and why is it significant to us?
Black History Month is when we choose, or when the Europeans choose to remember the importance of Black people and how they were forcefully taken from their land and put into their own system and were, reduced to the most degrading point in human history. Black History Month could mean different things for different people. But for me, Black History Month is the time I feel we need to fight the injustice of colored people. For me personally, the time I used to speak about how we can change all the demise that has happened to us as a people.
So moving on to you, Michael Sebastian, what does Black History Month mean to you? What's the significance of Black History Month?
All right. To my own understanding, it's an annual observance in the United States, and it's also known as the African American History Month. Yeah, and when it comes to the significance of it, it all began as a way of remembering the important people and events in the history of the African diaspora. Yeah, and it was celebrated in the US, Canada, that's in the month of February, yeah, and in Netherlands, Ireland, and in the UK in the month of October. So, to my understanding now, Black History Month is a month where we remember the good work and the history of Africa in diaspora. Now, we remember the good works of the Black leaders, even in the United States, Black leaders all over the world, and the great impact which they made to different communities and to our community as well. So this month is a month where we use in remembering people such as Abraham Lincoln and Abraham Lincoln and Douglas. These were two people which they actually made great impact to the Black community. And why
Abraham
it's
Lincoln.
celebrated, yeah,
You sure? I don't remember no Abraham Lincoln.
Because I
I'm
knew
looking
Martin
at
Luther
Martin
King.
Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King was very,
and
very
Nelson Mandela.
significant, yes.
No, Abraham
No,
Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln too, I think
yeah,
because of the way he freed Black people from, like he abolished
yeah.
the slavery era,
This
which led
is
to the
what
American Civil War.
Abraham,
I think the
this is
blacks
what
have
this is what
recently added him to the
this is
list of
what
people that
Abraham
they
Lincoln.
celebrate.
Well, Abraham Lincoln is white. He's Caucasian.
Yes. Now he did something.
So
Anyway,
moving on to you, Harry. Let's
yes.
not argue about what Abraham Lincoln, because I know that recently too, I saw Abraham Lincoln's name on a student manual where they said they recognized Abraham Lincoln because he actually, against all odds, he fought for the freeing of slaves. He made sure that the slave law was abolished. You know, that time was between the North and the South. And the
Yes.
South wanted slavery. The South
So
wanted slavery because
Abraham,
the South, Michael, don't worry. So let me just land this point. The South wanted slavery, and the North said no to slavery. And because the South had more of this, like cotton, they had like mostly was manual jobs and
Yeah.
hard jobs, and they needed Black people to do those jobs. So he said they were not willing to let go of the slaves, and it led to the Civil War, which Abraham Lincoln stood his ground. Even the church was against him because the church said slavery is backed by the Bible. So I would like to ask you too, Chimezere, Henry, as a minister, is slavery backed by the Bible? Because I remember the church saying that.
To be very honest, let's go into this topic very deep. Yes, the church slavery is backed by the Bible. And even to go back when the missionaries came, they came with the good news of Jesus. And I still imagine in my head how these, Roman Catholics came and preached Jesus and took us in sheep and put us in chains. And when they were worshiping till history, when the service was going up upstairs, the slaves were in the basement being tortured in the Vatican City, which we call the holy place. So this is at one point where the religion or the faith, the relationship we have with God, the faith of a man is separated from the religion of Christianity. Yes, I have the faith in God and I believe in God and I feel Jesus is the true way to get to God. But the religion that back up Christianity is a deceitful one.
That's a very good point. And you also said, still on that slavery, Henry, I would like to ask you too. You said the Europeans came, there was something you said during your intro, and you still referenced it now, that the missionaries came, or the Europeans rather, they came to take Africans as slaves. But I read a little bit of history too, and he also said that the Africans willingly, their kings, were willingly selling the black people to them as slaves. That they were dealers, they were black dealers, kings willingly um, gave their subjects as slaves. So what would you like to say about that? That the Africans, if there were no sellers, there will be no buyers, and they actually bought them. It's not as if they forcefully took them. They bought them. If I remember, Badagry used to be a trading place. And one other place, I can't remember, is Apapa or something, but Badagry was very known because it was a trading place for slaves. And the black men willingly bought their people to the white people. So what would you like to say about that?
That is very true. We as Africans, we had like a form of trade. And I remember when I was young, my grandfather used to tell me that yes, they were slaves. But the kind of slaves we have, I can only speak from the Igbo tribe. The kind of slave we have, because most of the slaves that were sold were Igbos. So the slaves we had, or the type of slavery we had, was where, for example, you borrowed money from me, right? Or you borrowed cowries from me and you couldn't pay off. So I will tell you, Oga, since you borrowed money from me, you come and work for me for a certain years. Once you've paid up your debt, then you are free. That was the kind of slavery we had. But the slavery the European people came with was not, it's not even slavery. What we call it is one boy. So it is to do apprenticeship until you've paid your debt. So it was not a form of slavery like the Europeans brought. It was just a form of you work for me and then you settle your debt, then you go your way. But what the European brought was slavery, where they dehumanized their slaves. They put them under certain working conditions that were bad. They reduced them to the worst state. So it was totally different because the blacks never owed Europeans for nothing. So this slavery was different from what we had.
So, Michael, I'd like to move to you now. Still on this slavery
Mhm.
subject, the same question. But I also like to expatiate it because I read the book. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. It was a long time ago when I was in secondary school. And the same thing said that the Africans, the monarchs in Africa, especially in Nigeria, let's focus on Nigeria now because we are Nigerians. They willingly sold people, their subjects, to the white community, to the white missionaries. And they sold them that they will pay us this amount, take our people. They even went to start capturing fellow Nigerians like them to sell to the white community. Is this a lie? Is this all a lie or just a hoax? Because some black people have also said that yes, it was true. That's what happened during that time. But do you really agree with it? What's your take on slavery generally?
Okay, according to what you're saying, I also heard of this same issue, whereby the African or Nigerian parents, leaders, who end up selling their subjects out to the white people in exchange of money, in exchange of foreign material things, then such as a mirror, a camera. You understand? Back in those days, they haven't seen such things. So then most of them sold during the time of slavery, they sold their subjects because of these material things, mentioning the calories and some other things they haven't seen before, which resulted to we having, according to the story I was being told by my granddad, yes, by my granddad, he said that during those days, why I see that we have a lot of black people outside, mostly Nigerian blacks outside, that during those days that they were being enslaved and they were being taken to this country to work. Now, and these people now that we see today, they are kind of uh, their generations or their offspring that they are probably there. And in Igbo land, we do call them, when you're being enslaved, they call it Osu. Yes, they see you, your family as an Osu, as an outcast. Yeah, and so I believe a lot of stories came about this slavery issue. You know, some people, like in Igbo land too, we like what Henry said, we do what we call one boy, where you kind of you owe someone, you tell the person, okay, since you can't pay me, give me this your child to work for me, and I will settle him. Or by the time he has worked up to the money you're owing me, then I will let him come back to you. But once now, a time also came that the white people came and took the blacks by force. That is when the bad slavery came about. But also a time came where we sold, and a time also came when they took it by force.
Mm.
So thank you.
I want to move on to you now, Chimizere. Still speaking on this slavery, modern day slavery is still a big problem in the black community. Like it's still very rampant. You see black people, they trust what is made by the whites and what is made by the blacks. When you come, especially here in Nigeria, you say this store is imported from Italy, like Italian door, or it's Canadian door, or is it maybe let's say USA shoe, or USA bag, or USA any product that is foreign. People tend to, even if it's 10 times expensive, they tend to patronize it more than the ones that is made in Aba, than the ones that is made in maybe Ibadan, and the one that is made in Jebu. They don't value it. The same way it happens not only in Nigeria, it's like a worldwide thing. The black community, they spend money. Even yet, you see Yahoo boys or people that even work, normal working guys, that will buy drinks imported from abroad. Yeah, when we have our local drinks, we have our local beverages, but we prefer the one imported. They buy it expensive, the goods, the clothes, the jewelries, everything is from the white community. Don't you feel like the black men too are still slaves to themselves? They are the ones that are now enslaving themselves. We complain about the whites so much that, oh, the whites are they enslave us, they enslave us. But is this not modern day slave whereby we are enslaving ourselves to believing that the white man can make more superior products than us or is better than us?
Yes, that is very true. That is modern day slavery where we have been pushed into. But we're not going to blame ourselves for that, but we have to trace back to where it's coming from. When the white people came, they came with religion. Remember, we had our own system of connecting to God. We had our own place of worship. But they never will tell you that we had our own gods. They will never tell you that we had our own languages. Every time they tell you about Africa, they will tell you they met us in the bush. We do not know how to read and write. We did not have a form of civilization. That has been the light that built up till this modern day slavery. So we have to talk about where it came from. So it came from religion. So they used religion. They removed all our culture. They removed all our forms of civilization. And they never give us no credit. Back to Egypt. In Egypt, in Africa, we had pyramids built with these pyramids that were built were structures heavily filled with mathematics. We had pyramids. In Nigeria, before Nigeria was made, we had the great kingdom of Benin. The great kingdom of Benin had kings, obas, and they had kingdoms, and they had statues, they had images, they had sacred monuments. They never speak about that. The Igbo, the Igbo people had a great, even the Yorubas had a great kingdom. The Hausa, the Fulani men had, sorry, not the Hausa, not the Fulani, but not the Hausa. The Fulani men had a great kingdom. because the Hausas were never part of us. We're getting the Hausas came later, but they had their own kingdom. So the issue here is that when they came with religion, they used religion to enslave us. They told us that Jesus was white. Jesus is never white. The Bible never depicts Jesus as white. Jesus is a colored man. So we have to go back to where it came from. They told us that angels were white and devils were black. So that image they inbuilt in us is what is still keeping us back. That is why when we look at ourselves, we never came to love ourselves because we were always told that what is black is the devil. And that was why they dehumanized us, they treated us wrong. But the truth about the whole thing, which needs to be corrected, is that the Europeans were the terrorists of our time. The Europeans were the only people who went to people's land, killed the people. The Europeans were the only people who used gun to chop off people's head. The Europeans were the only people who took people, hung them on trees, and burned them, who have more terrorists than anyone. The Europeans. The Islamic folks are not even the terrorists we have, but we've seen them get away with this and they've refused to correct it. So what they are doing is that they are trying to save their image and trying to be like, okay, we acted ignorantly. Okay, it is our fault, but it was never our fault. It has always been from the other side. So when we see this situation where we feel them as superior, it's because they embedded this religious image of them being saint and us being devil, of them being supreme and us being the less supreme.
But wouldn't you think, I still want to take you up on that? You said the Europeans were chopping people's head, the Europeans were,
Yes,
but there are still black men that will tell you that they prefer an European person 100 times better than a black man. Because a black man is, first of all, black men hate so much. They are not. Let me read a quote from Martin Luther King. Sorry, let me quickly look for that quote.
Yeah,
I saw it from because I knew I think for every black man, for every black poor person, should read this Martin Luther King speech, which is "I had a dream," and I'd like to pick a quote which I saw from there, which is sorry, let me quickly get that. Martin Luther King. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the same cup of bitterness and hatred. Now, the greatest hater of a black man is a black man. We are like not only do we drink from the cup of bitterness, we have decided to build a whole tank of bitterness. This same religion of Christianity is practiced abroad, but yeah, abroad, they don't use it to kill themselves. They don't use it to judge themselves. They are very, very accommodating. Besides, they have one of the best laws abroad. But the same religion, it's the same Christianity, we will bring it here in Africa. Use it to torment ourselves, use it to divide ourselves, use it to European, that Christianity and Islam, the two religions are from the Middle East. They are not even from Europe itself. We can't say they are from Europe. They were from, one is from
Middle
Israel.
East, yes.
They are from Middle East, both of them. And we have used it to brainwash ourselves. What has it got into this? What made it so bad?
Okay, you asked so many questions, but regarding Martin Luther King's quote, remember, I always say this: we cannot become what we are fighting against. We cannot use hate to fight hate. We cannot become hate to fight hate. And that is the truth. And thank God Martin Luther King too saw that same vision that I see, or that same view I have. And let's go to where we have become more hate. First, we were taken firstly from our land. Imagine that. We were put on chains. We were flogged day and night. Our fathers were beaten before our eyes. Mothers were raped before your own eyes. That in itself aggregates anger. That already had messed up the black man psychologically. You see your brother, your own brother, being burnt and your sister being raped. So put yourself in that shoe. The only thing that can come out from there is anger. So it is taking a while for us to take out these toxic things we've seen with our sight. Because with our sight, it is embedded in our brains. And our brains then react to our emotions. So it's going to take us a little time to adjust. And it's taking us time to heal. It is after you've healed from that, you then understand that you still have to find love even in the most dark place. And that is where we are coming from. We were put in a pit. Our people were put in a pit, and they were told to fight each other until death. What do you think all that will engrave in a man? If they put you and I in a pit and say, I should fight you or you will kill me, what will I do? I will try to fight for my life and you will try to fight for your life. And that has been the situation our people were put on. So it should not be blamed on us at all. Our people have been a victim. So they inculcated this hate. So it is a systematic torture they did. They put it so that we will hate each other. We were taught to hate. It is not natural for us to hate. And I will prove my point. When the Europeans came, we welcomed them. We treated them as gods. We carried them on our shoulder. Is that a form of hate? But when they came and we carried them on our shoulder, presented them to our leaders, what did they bring in their bags? Guns. They were the ones who had guns. They were the ones who killed our people. They took our people by force, because I will tell you, no mother will take her child that she has raised to give to you without knowing where her child is going to. So for them to be able to cover up the bad deeds they have done, not to look like the monsters which they are and which is the truth, they had to change the story around to that they were given. If these slaves were given, how did you come to destroy the great kingdom of Benin? How come that the statues in Benin, in England are still there in the Museum of England? England has not returned all the things they stole from Benin. It still sits in the museum. So that proves the point that they were not given freely. They were taken by force. If the Europeans were sorry for what they did, the first act of being sorry is to return everything that was stolen, is to say the truth the way it is. So we were taught to hate each other. That is my point. So we became full of hatred. But now that we have realized what has been done to us, now that we have realized that we are brothers, it's going to take time for us to love again, because we have been taught to hate each other for almost a long time.
Okay. So now moving on to you, Michael. There's something I still will not agree with Chimeziri on. He gave me really, really strong points, very, very strong views, but that we were taught to hate each other. Michael, first of all, I would like you to quickly react on what we said. Then I will still, first of all, just give me your reactions, and before I move to the next question.
Okay. According to what Henry said, we have been taught to hate. Yeah, I see great point in that, because a lot of things happened during the time of the Europeans and we Africans when they came here to fight and to take our people by force. Yeah, in terms of them burning our young men alive, raping our mothers, killing our fathers, these things, the eyes we use in seeing for our sight now has a connection to the brain, and this fix a lot of things in our mind, and it's very hard to erase. By the time you watch things like this happen to your loved ones, my dear, there's no how you ever have this joy in you. So they actually taught us to hate. So if there's a hatred in a black man's heart, this was an implantation by the European people. Yeah, and to fall back to the question you asked initially, when you said that we are still in modern, being enslaved in this modern time. In terms of we buy things from the white people, we still depend on things we do. Now, I would like to prove that wrong in my own aspect, because the black, like Henry said, like in Egypt, when Egyptians made great pyramids, and in Benin, they made great sculptures. They molded a lot of things, mighty images, and a lot of beautiful things. Now, the white people saw it that the blacks are creative and the blacks are intelligent. Now, why they came and took our blacks and stole our properties and important things was because they felt that if they are to take the black ones as slaves to their country, now the black people will be there making all these things for them. which my dad proved that to me because he said, I told him one certain time that I would like to be like the white people. I wish I was as intelligent as the white people. Then he showed me and said that, what are you saying? Do you know that black are people behind under the building making all these things, and the white people sit in the offices and answering the name? And I got to find out that all these things we do today, nice things we buy and having the label of USA, great things we see, small cars we see that are being imported, these things are being made by black people. Great things we see there, robots and a lot of things, all these inventions, most of these things, almost all these things are being made by the black people down
Yeah.
at the engine room.
The highest
And
paid
the white,
robotic engineer in the world is even a black man. A Nigerian man,
yeah,
Silas Adekunle, a Yoruba guy.
yeah. So the black people, people from the eastern part of the world, are very, even the Bible stated it, that the wise men came from the east. They believe that we are just, the thing is that blacks are intelligent, blacks are
But
filled with knowledge,
sorry, I would
and
still like to
they
ask
couldn't,
something, Michael. Michael, see, the black man, yes, black men are intelligent. I've never disputed that. But that hatred, that Martin Luther King speech, maybe I should read it again.
No, we
Because it
know
was
the
one.
speech. We heard the speech.
I love that speech when I saw it because one thing I love is that this freedom. I have a dream. Like I read it every single time, and that place really stuck me. The black men now, tribalism is a big problem. Michael Sebastian, we live in Nigeria here. It is not whites that told us how to be tribalistic. No, you are Yoruba man, you are fake. You are an Igbo man, you are very useless. Igbo man, they are criminals. All they know
Can
how to do is to
can
do
I
for fun.
jump in? Can I
To
jump
do for
into
one.
that?
Okay, jump into that.
See, they taught us about hate. They taught us about hate.
To be
See, before they
tribalist, to
came,
be tribalistic.
yes, they taught us. That
But
is why
they didn't give us
they
Igbo,
taught us.
Yoruba, Hausa. They
I'm, go-
met
I'm,
us like that.
I'm going to give you fact. I'm going to give you
Okay.
fact. Okay, before Nigerians independent, before the amalgamation of Nigeria, right? It was, what is his name again? What's the man's name?
Say
Can
Lord
you remember
Lugard.
his name?
Lord Lugard.
Lord Lugard.
Yeah.
Before Lord Lugard brought Nigeria together, they had regional officers, one from the north, one for the south, and one from the east, which gave report to the queen. You're getting. So they had all these regions. This report they did, they discovered that most of the Igbo people were doing more than the North people. So now the Igbos had more wealth than the northern people. Then they merged them together, two separate people merged them together, and then made all of us equal. So you that had 100 naira, they took your 100 naira and gave you 1 naira. You that had, 1 naira, they took the 1 naira, you still have your 1 naira. That equalism was not right. When they brought everybody together, it was not right. So that was what brought the tribalism we see because of these regional officers they placed. They were the ones who taught us corruption. We didn't know corruption. It was when they came. Another site that I know very well. Before the Europeans came, Igbo women were business women. Everybody knows that. An Igbo woman was a businesswoman. Igbo women were not put under subjection. There was nothing like submission to a man. An Igbo woman could go out, fight for her whole family, be the breadwinner, and give respect to her husband. But when the
Yeah.
British came, they were the one who brought the church, and they were the one who brought suppression. They were the one who taught us to put our women under suppression. Who taught
Because
us?
I even
Taught us.
because I even remember the about women's riots during the colonials. I think people can Google that to find out more about it. It was because the whites increased the tax. There was over taxation for the Aba women, and it led to a riot that no, they were tired of the excessive tax by the colonial masters. But
So they were the ones.
yeah, so
They
I'll
were the
still
ones
move
who
back
taught
to.
us to hate.
I'll still go back. I will still come back to you, Henry. But it's just like Michael to quickly finish his points. Then let me move to. So Michael, just wrap up on your points and let me move on to the next question.
Okay, thank you. What I was trying to say is that the blacks are naturally intelligent, and the white people couldn't come down and ask for us to teach them how we do things we do. So they felt that they were a more power, or they were more civilized than we blacks, and they thought they could take everything by force. And that was what they actually did. So the thing is that we blacks, we are fighters. We are born to fight. We are born to go make it in life. We are born to go through difficulties and bring out good results. A black man can any country you go to and you see and you don't see a black man, it's been so if you're in Nigeria, you hear some people saying that any country you go to and you don't see a black man, just run away from there. They have reasons why they say these things because if you notice, in every country there is always a black person there. Black people are filled with this knowledge, and the white people actually need it from us. So they actually took it by force then. But I believe that one day, I don't know, but I believe that one day blacks will need to stand out and fight for their rights.
So for those who don't know how important this Black History Month is, let me roll out a few facts. 14 African countries, France control their currency. It is printed in France, then sent to those countries. 50% of their foreign reserve is kept in Paris. That is for rolling out facts. Now, China has taken over Zambia's airports due to their failure to pay debts. This is another country taking another country's airport. They took over their electricity company, and also they took over their national broadcasting network and even some major roads over debts, over owing of debts. The China just launched the 13th police station in South Africa. Like imagine another country having another police station in another country. China now launched its 13th police station, and they're even mandating people, any African that want to come and work in the police station, to learn Mandarin, which is the Chinese language, to learn Chinese. There are also different things. We don't even want to talk about the resources, the collecting of resources from other countries, from Congo or from Burkina Faso, the fight in Cameroon and how France is spearheading it. But let's not even go into that. Is how important, that's how deep it is. If we go deep into this topic, I'm sure it will never end. But Chimezere, now moving on to you, I would like to roll out facts because this episode is it's an episode close to heart for me because I feel like we Black people, we've lost it. Now,
Yes, we have.
medicine was invented in Egypt.
Okay.
The first recorded surgery was in Egypt.
Okay.
Writing began in Africa.
Okay.
Astronomical observation, for those who don't know what that means, that is the telling of time. When you look at the sun, you'll be able to tell time. You will put water on the ground, you can tell, you can even predict weather, whether it will rain today, whether it will be windy tomorrow, whether it will be hot tomorrow. It's not with the people of Mali. People of Mali actually started this. Even our forefathers, those of us that, even our forefathers, we know our great grandfathers and our grandfathers, they could do it when they look at the sun or the moon, they could tell the time. It started in Africa. Drawing, the first drawing, cave drawing, was found in a South African cave. The oldest drawing in the world was found in a South African cave. The oldest known tool was found in Ethiopia, which is a tool for making something, was found in Ethiopia. Mathematics was invented in Africa by the people of the Lubobo Mountains of Switzerland. Algebra and the shapes and everything was invented in Egypt. That is why the pyramids are there. Egypt actually invented shapes.
Yes.
That is still in the rolling out of facts. So, okay, let me still move on to Africans even built houses. They were the first that build houses that could regulate weather. There's a way they build their houses, which will be cold when it is sunny. And in the nighttime, now it will be warm. Our forefathers, you can still see that houses that were made of mud. We can still find them in the when we go to the villages, we can still find them. Let me not even go on and on and on because it can never end. A lot of things that Africans have invented. But now, Chimezere, an average Black man or an average African man, all he wants to do, they don't want to invent anymore. All they want to do is to pray. There is bad government, prayer. Something is not working, prayer. Everything now is to pray, pray, pray. Pray for breakthrough, pray for success, pray for prosperity. Pray for, even now we pray for NEPA, for lights not to be interrupted. We pray for our government, for us to have good government. We don't take action anymore. It is prayer. We are no longer looking to create again. And one thing that some Christians forget that the Bible actually says is that God created us in his own image. And God is a creator. God created the fishes now. God created the moon and the stars. He separated water from. God created a lot of things in the Bible. God even created man. And he said, I created man in my own image, meaning that man should be a creator. But people now, Black men now don't want to create. All they want to do is to pray, pray, pray. Chimezere, how did we lose it?
I will honestly say is you see a people who are to be great. Just you're seeing them from a mountain. They are great people. They are all together building. Now let's go back to Bible. I love Bible. I love religion. The Bible says, and the people came together to build a tower of heaven. And the Bible said all of them were united. They were all united. And the Bible says God saw that they will actually build this tower and reach where he was. And scripture now tells us, what did God do to make sure they did not build it? Scripture told us God had to scatter them. So that is what they use. They had to scatter us. Forgive me, my mic just went out. They had to scatter us to be able to subdue us. So when you see a people, the first thing you got to do is to scatter them. Once you scatter the people, everything is scattered. And that was what they did. They used religion to hold us captive. Then they took away, they took away our history from us. What can you do to a man? Take away his history, take away his land, take away his people, take away his mother, take away everything. Just imagine that you are in a coma now, and you've been in a coma for 7 days, a week, and then you wake up and they tell you, marvelous, you are a humpy dumpy. All you do is jump, 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 jump. And that is what they told you. Day two, they bring you again. They say, marvelous, you're a humpy dumpy. Hop, 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 hop. Day three, marvelous, you're a humpy dumpy. Hop, 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 hop. By the fourth day, all you'll be doing for the rest of your life is hopping.
It's hopping.
And that is exactly what they did to us. They removed our history. They erased it. They are not sorry that they erased our history. Not for one day. The only reason we are seeing a change is not because we have become victorious. The only reason we are seeing a change is because colored people have outdated them. If we have not outdated the Western people, back in my words, they will still put back slavery. They will still make us slaves again. So we need to realize that we have not reached anywhere. Martin Luther King had gone to a certain place, but we have not fought the final battle. We are only seeing a little bit of relief because our people have grown in population. We have increased in population. And the next agenda to do is to depopulate us, to reduce our numbers. If they reduce our numbers, they will put us back. So they use religion, slavery. The first type of slavery they used was religion to enslave us. The second type of slavery they now use was institutional slavery, which is what we are still seeing, where they will not permit you into some institution. They will not allow you walk into some institution. The third one they use now is educational slavery, where they refuse to give you access to resources to build, access to resources to create. They deny us education. That was what they did. Now, the final one they will use is corruption. They will make sure that corruption rules everywhere. Because honestly, we knew nothing about corruption. They taught us corruption. Now they have made all the governments of the black nations corrupt. Are they not? They say Africa is corrupt. Africa is corrupt. Who is buying this oil? They are the ones. Who is going behind, not going through the process? They are the ones. Who are the people buying, taking all the resources from Africa? They are still the ones. Who are the ones taking our doctors and taking them to their country? They are the ones. So they will make our land unproductive so that they will have a legal right to take what is ours. And they always look for a legal right to take what is ours. And that is what they are doing. And the issue now is Africa. We need to wake up. We need to wake up because the little penny they are giving to us, we are sacrificing our generations. We are sacrificing our children. We are sacrificing them for the little relief you are receiving now. But the danger that is coming is a very bad one. That is the honest truth.
So, Michael Sebastian, would you have any reaction to that before I ask the final question?
No, everything Henry said is perfect.
Okay. So, final question, Michael Sebastian, to you. Like that speech that Martin Luther King said, he said, I wish that one day the blacks would take their rightful place. how can we take, how do you feel in your own words? Can we take our rightful place? And what do you expect from what in the future? Where do you see blacks? What do you expect from black?
Okay. Thank you, Marvelous. Yeah, according to what Martin Luther King said, you know, I see the man as a man of vision. Yeah, I see him as a man of vision, and definitely, I don't feel that the blacks are stupid. The black people we see there today, making things, making investments, uh, uh, helping the white people make some things. To me, I don't feel that stupid. I feel they are working on a plan. But I still think that the blacks over there who have been there and have seen the faults, the weak points of the white people should probably bring those ideas and share it with their brothers over here. And with this, we can conquer the European people. Now, I'm not trying to say that we should bring up the war or something, but we just need to stand our ground and know our place. Yeah, what we need to do is, not like what Martin Luther King said, that we shouldn't drink from one cup of hatred and bitterness. There should be love. One first things first is that there should be love within every black person. When there is love, despite the fact that they did a lot of terrible things before us, and it's been recorded in our memory and all that, it could still be wiped away. When there is love, everything is possible. So if we bring back love, bring back unity, just like what Henry said, that when we were building the Tower of Babel, they were building with unity and love. So if we can bring back love and unity, I believe that is the strongest weapon we can use to conquer anything. Yeah. Thank you.
So, Chimezere, final question. In the process of gaining our rightful place, that is one word Martin Luther King said. How can we gain our rightful place? And where do you see blacks, or how can black get to that, to the rightful place? That's just the word. What is the process, or how do you feel that blacks can get to the rightful place, the place that they are destined to be, which is kings?
To be honest, I don't see us getting to that rightful place anytime soon. Because the first thing that needs to be done hasn't been done. And if we don't get that first thing done, it will not be done. Unity. We have not united in any way. We have divided ourselves. As long as we still have a country called Nigeria, we still have Kenya, we still have Uganda, South Africa, Nairobi, Jamaica, St. Lucia, we will never reach that unity. So the first thing we need to do is to remove all these visas. We should remove all these countries because there is only England. England is England, and America is America. Are you getting my point here?
Mm.
And that is the truth. Because these labels and these countries we have is only aimed to divide us. Until I stop looking at you as a Nigerian, I stop looking at you as a South African, I stop looking at you as an Igbo man, a Yoruba man, we are not getting anywhere. Because to be honest, we have the Black Lives Matter in America. But the Black Lives Matter is only a Black Lives Matter in America. Black Lives Matter don't care about Africa. Black Lives Matter don't care about the slavery that is happening in the West, in the I've forgotten the place in Africa, but there's there's a certain country in Libya where you need to cross the borders to go to Europe.
Yeah,
They don't
Libya
care
and Morocco.
in where?
Libya, yes, Libya,
In
Morocco, and
Libya.
Tunisia, the
In
North
Libya.
African side. Yeah.
So until the Black Lives Matters begin to get it into their thinking faculty that it is Black life, not Black Americans, not Black Nigerians, Black life. Until we get to that place where unity, not because somebody died. That is a thing. Not because somebody is something happened. No, let us come to that unity on a daily basis. Until we come to that form of unity, we are not moving anywhere. We are not marching anywhere. We will still have our hands bound with chains.
Hmm, that's a deep one. That's a deep one. I think we've said a lot. It's been really nice hanging out with you guys. It's been an interesting episode. And I would like to end with this quote by Martin Luther King, which is from the same I Have a Dream speech. He said, I wish that one day Black men will not be judged by the color of their skin, by their sexuality, or by their religion, but by the contents of their character. That's been our offering on Q Talk. It's been nice hanging out with Chimezere Henry, a documentary filmmaker, a minister, and an activist. Thank you, Henry, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Marvelous.
And I also had Michael Sebastian, Chinese to English translator, a social worker. Thank you, Michael, for coming on the show.
Welcome, Marvelous.
So see you guys till next episode. Keep watching Q Talk. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next episode, see you guys later. Peace out.